Romanticism and Frankenstein. The very form of Frankenstein suggests Shelley's interest in Romanticism. Her choice of both first person narration and an epistolary form supports an exploration of an individual's point of view and perspective. Almost immediately, Shelley introduces romantic values as, near the start of his letter to his sister Margaret, Robert Walton recounts his status as a man of great feeling who responds sensitively to his environment. He writes that as he prepares for his exploratory voyage and walks the streets of St. Petersburg in Russia, I feel a cold northern breeze play upon my cheeks, which braces my nerves and fills me with delight. Do you understand this feeling? This breeze, which has traveled from regions towards which I am advancing, gives me a foretaste of those icy climes. Inspirited by this wind of promise, my daydreams become more fervent and vivid. Like all of the works we are reading in this course, Frankenstein repays close reading. For example, in this passage, the very repetition of the word feeling suggests how Walton exemplifies the romantic stress on sentiment. Note also how Robert portrays the relationship between sensual feeling, that of cool air on one's face, and interiority and sentiment. Feeling isn't just a matter of skin sensation, but nerves, delight, and a bit later in the passage, Robert's imagination, his sensitivity to his northern climate, intensifies his daydreams. Walton's romanticism is importantly gendered. He is writing to a woman, his sister. As he asks her, "Do you understand this feeling?" A question that may suggest that he doubts whether a mere woman could comprehend the depth and nuances of the feelings of a man such as himself. His second letter may provide evidence to support such an interpretation. Again, writing to Margaret, Robert, who is about to actually begin his journey to undiscovered reaches in the North, states, "It is impossible to communicate to you a conception of the trembling sensation, half pleasurable and half fearful, with which I am preparing to depart." Robert may be indicating how it is difficult to put his complex and ambivalent feelings into words at all. Or he may be stating that, again, a woman just can't comprehend fully the presumably more exalted creature that is a man. Indeed, in that same letter, Robert writes, "I desire the company of a man who could sympathize with me, whose eyes would reply to mine." Frankenstein, on many levels, is what we would call today a bromance. Here, Robert Walton seeks out a man who would share his complex interiority and depth of feeling, a man, as he puts it, whose eyes would reply to mine. We've seen such a stress on the eyes before, as early as the Renaissance portrait of Thomas More, which highlights More's keen and acute eyes, which suggest in turn the depth of More's interiority. Walton wants, it seems, a fellow, deep man of feeling, someone perhaps like a young and undisgraced Morrissey. Note Shelley's stress on eyes here. Eyes are an important component of her narrative. As Frankenstein continues, Walton seems to get just what he seeks when a barely alive Victor Frankenstein boards his ship. If Walton claims to possess a romantic sensitivity to nature, Victor, Walton claims, does so even more. As Walton puts it in his fourth letter to Margaret, No one can feel more deeply than he does the beauties of nature. Here again we see a romantic stress, not just on feelings, but on depth of feeling and a refined sensitivity to the natural world. While Walton earlier questioned the ability of a woman, his sister, to understand what it means to feel deeply, here he embraces Victor for his exceptional and superlative relationship to nature. Small wonder then that Walton proclaims his affection, his deep feelings for Frankenstein, writing, "I begin to love him as a brother, and his constant and deep grief fills me with sympathy and compassion." As you continue to read Frankenstein, please note when Shelley signposts her engagement with Romanticism through such details as a vocabulary of sensitivity, words like feel, feeling, deep, a stress on interiority, on what is happening inside a person's mind, and a related stress on the eyes as windows into another's interior. Scenes in which characters reveal a nuanced relationship with their natural environment. Finally, please track this tension at work in Shelley's engagement with the human. Romanticism embraces the idea of an autonomous self as never before, celebrating, for example, creative writing as an expression of one's originality and individual creativity. The passages I've cited in this video seem to support that idea of a unique and independent self. Walton claims that Victor is utterly unique. No one can feel more deeply than he does the beauties of nature. But other aspects of the text complicate the idea of unique and autonomous selves. Consider how it makes Walton and Victor into doubles. For example, they are each bent on achievement. Walter explores the North Pole, Victor makes a human. And they are both first-person storytellers. Do look for other doubles in this text, including possibly Victor and the creature as doubles. And consider what Shelley is up to in this tension between the idea of an individual, autonomous self and doubles.